What's up, Fantasy 18 Nation? I'm your host, Josh Jenkins, and tonight's video, we are going to unveil our Week 12 running back matchups. But before I start the show, I'd like to welcome my good friend and co-host, Zach Roberts, back to the show. Welcome back, Zach.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me back. Josh, what's up, 18 Fantasy Nation? We're ready to get to this Week 12 top running back matchups. Before we do, go with Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, because he's back to his former self, and even Austin Eckler. Those three guys, man. Start them if you got them from here on out. So not in particular order, but the first guy I have on here, and it doesn't have to be 1 through 5. Any of these guys could be at pretty much any place. I got Najee Harris, man, versus Cincinnati, 26th ranked defense versus the run. I really love this matchup this week. He kind of, as he goes, so does the Pittsburgh offense now. And so last week he only had 12 carries for 39 yards and then 5 receptions on 6 targets for 20 yards. He did get the touchdown on the ground, but didn't get one in the air. He's turning into a true dual threat. And with that going forward, I mean, right there is 17 touches. So I look for him to have 15 plus touches or more this week. I look for him to have a big game versus Cincinnati because they're going to have to if they want to try to win. And, he, like I was saying, he's kind of like their offense. So as he goes, so will Pittsburgh. So I believe they're going to give him the ball 15, 20 times, depending on if it's throwing or rushing. What do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. Najee is the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is the future of this franchise. The newest member. Last week he had a par game, you could say. This week, I believe he'll be a little bit above par. I'm looking anywhere, 20, 25 touches. Over 100 yards all purpose. And I actually look for the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this matchup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Pittsburgh has a chance to beat Cincy, but man, Cincy, if they could blow up like I think they can, I think they have a really good game this week. That's why I have Joe Mixon as the second. He's not number 2, but the next guy up on this list is Joe Mixon. And Pittsburgh's 13th versus the run. So they're a little bit better. But, Mixon's really come on strong the last 2 weeks. He's had big game last week, 30 carries for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I look for him to build off that last week's game. I think he'll probably have 100 yards, and I think he gets a touchdown this week. So that if that kind of dictates back and forth how the game's going to go, I think there's going to be a lot of Harris and Mixon in this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I look for more of the same. He's been on a roll the last few games. I don't see no reason why he won't keep it up. I mean, Pittsburgh defense, is not the greatest. They have been able to be run upon. So, I look for him to keep it up.
I agree. All right, so next after that I got, and like I said, this is no particular order, but I got Antonio Gibson, and he's first in Seattle. This is why I have him on here, 31st versus the run. So Gibson's a pretty solid dual threat running back. Although last week he did have 19 carries for 95 yards and no touchdown. They didn't throw to him out of the backfield. They had a rough game last week. Washington did. I believe McLaurin had a touchdown, but other than that, I don't know. How well their offense will play this week. Washington's kind of struggling a little bit. So, but he's one of those gems that's on their team that I believe he'll have 75 plus yards and probably gets a touchdown, maybe 2. And if they throw to him, he could have 100 all-purpose yards. So we'll see what they do this week.
Yeah, I agree with that. Was it last week they played the Panthers?
I'd have to go back and look, but I think you may be right.
Anyway, the game where they played the Panthers, he run all over, I thought, the Panthers defense. The Panthers couldn't stop that offense. Was it 2 weeks ago? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, they could not stop Washington's offense, and he was running all over them. And if that's anything, he's going to run all over the Seahawks.
Yeah,
as far as
I think
numbers
so
wise, as far as number wise, they're nowhere compared to the Panthers. So I look for him to have a big game this week.
And that's why I put him on this list. And he didn't get any touchdowns. He had 19 touches on 95 yards, which is really solid. So he didn't get any touchdowns. I guarantee he gets one, maybe two this week, and probably close to the 100-yard mark. And if they throw to him, maybe an extra 25 yards or more. So next, I got A.J. Dillon on here versus the L.A. Rams, 16th versus the run. I really love this matchup because it's Green Bay. So as you worry about Aaron Rodgers, you got to worry about this guy, Dillon. He's a beast, dude. He had 11 carries for 53 yards, and then he caught the ball six times for 44 yards. He didn't get a touchdown either time, but, dude, they can't keep this big guy out of the end zone for very long, man. So I believe he has a big game this week. He's turning into a dual threat, 125-plus yards. I think he gets 2 touchdowns this week, maybe one on the air and one on the ground. We'll see.
Yeah, Aaron Jones is not going to be back, so he's going to be carrying the load. I look for him to have a good game, although this is going up against the Rams. See how well the Rams front seven can hold up.
And he's a different kind of back than Aaron Jones, so he's a big guy. He's going to wear down that front, especially if they give him the ball very many times. So in the beginning.
Yeah, he's that back where he lowers the head and the shoulders and he goes right up the middle.
Kind of like a Derrick Henry, bro. He's big.
Yeah, there's really no juking in his game. He's just full steam ahead.
Bulldozer, absolutely. Okay, so you like that matchup too. I really love that matchup, actually. So, okay, so I got 2 more names real quick for you before we get off this video. But Saquon Barkley, I know he's still a little questionable, but with the Jason Garrett thing gone, last week he only had 6 touches for 25 yards and 0 touchdowns, 6 catches for 31 yards and 0 touchdowns. So they were getting him warmed up last week. It's kind of like warming up the Porsche or whatever. Now Jason Garrett's gone. So again, we said this on the waiver wire video about the Giants all week, is with him gone, we think they're going to revamp their offense and start utilizing their assets, so that would be Barkley, Galladay, Ingram. Those guys that they paid big contracts to are going to start getting the ball. I guarantee it. They didn't pay those guys those contracts for them to not be used and continue to lose. Now, if you don't use those guys and you're winning, then the front office is going to be happy. But if you're losing like they're losing and looking how bad they look with this much money out there, they're going to make sure somebody's trying to utilize these guys. So I believe Saquon Barkley is going to get the ball 15-plus times this week.
Yeah, I want to see Barkley succeed coming off an ACL injury. Yeah. I'd like to see him start this weekend against the Eagles. They're
going to need him if they're going to try to win. That's the other thing I was going to say. If the Giants, that's what I put down on here. If the Giants are going to win, he's going to have 100-plus yards and at least a touchdown if they're going to try to win. And Daniel Jones have to play great. So is Kenny Galladay. So is Evan Ingram.
Yeah, they're going to have to spread it out wide and then let him catch it out of the backfield. And they need to mix up the offense a little bit. It's been stale. There's got to be a change. So maybe it starts with Jason Garrett. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I think firing Jason Garrett was probably a good move for him. We'll see what happens. So here's somebody I want to throw out last. That's probably a possibility for most of you guys to go pick up off the waiver wire, who I like this running back matchup, is Javonte Williams of Denver. He's versus the LA Chargers. He's 24th versus the run. I like the matchup. Williams is primed for a big game, and this is a pretty good matchup at 24th ranked. Last week he had 8 carries for 48 yards, and then he caught the ball twice for, I guess they only gave him 1 yard total for his catching ability last week, but he can catch the ball. So we'll see if they can't get him the ball. I think he can get 75-plus yards and a touchdown this week. So there's somebody you might be able to plug and play on a flex, or if you just don't have anybody for your second running back.
Yeah, I mean, his numbers can only go up from last week.
And I think he's starting to play better. So
surely they'll give him maybe double that amount of carries and throw to him More than one time, surely.
Well, they threw to him 3 times. He caught it twice, but it was only for 1 yard. So they were throwing to him out of the back, in the backfield deep. So he was only able to get out that 1 yard. I think it was 2 half-yard gains. I'm not quite sure, but still, he can't catch the ball. So he caught the ball in college. So I think he can actually be a asset, and he's starting to show he's a rookie. So I think it's a little past half season. He's had a bye week. He's starting to get things down. I think he's primed to have a big game, and I think he has a great matchup versus the Chargers. It's in game, in a conference game. So, well,
folks, there you have it. There is our running back matchups, our top running back matchups for Week 12. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, hit that subscribe button. If you have any comments, drop them down below. We'll be more than happy to answer them the best we can. And remember, friends, don't let friends auto draft.